Okay guys, today we're going to talk about the mystery of the plain Jane chain. Why is that a mystery, and what in the world is a plain Jane chain? Well, think about it. When you make a design, sometimes you put a simple chain on it. Nothing going on, chain's not talking, doesn't need to, the focal's doing the talking. I'm wearing a good example of that. It's just on a leather cord. But we got all this chotch going on in the bottom. So it would be pretty if it had a prettier chain on it. Maybe at some point I will do that, because nobody's bought it yet. And that's another idea, redoing your stuff. I could put a little button going up the side. I could use a rosary linked chain, something that's not quite so plain Jane, a little bit more going on, but not overpowering. But when I talk about plain Jane chains in your jewelry, I often think about big assemblage pieces, those great big honkers that we like to do. And one thing that I've noticed, sometimes when we do those pieces, we put all this thought and all these pieces on the front. And then we quickly hook up the back with a real small curved chain or a little Figaro or something, and it may be strong enough to support the piece and it goes with it, but it doesn't really go with it because there isn't balance. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. Since we've been talking so much about assemblage, I had a great big piece that I started on my desk, and if you looked at Work Table Wednesday this week, you probably saw it. And I thought today I would use that for an example. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about not doing plain Jane chain on a great big piece, and then how we could use up maybe stray links and bits of chain that we have lying about so that we can save a little bit of money and provide more neckline interest. I did a video some time ago about working a neckline. That's kind of it. An asymmetric neckline, which I have an example here to show you. And also how to wonky wire a button. It's kind of fun. You may have a really cool time with this. You may come up with a whole new idea. Or you may learn to wire your button so it doesn't look so wonky. But anyway, come on over here and I'm going to show you how I do it. Okay, so here, excuse me, is the piece that I had out on my Work Table Wednesday table, and I had only this part done, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not done with this yet. You might think, oh, it's done to me, but I'm not, and I'm just going to tell you real quick why I'm not. I started to put these little wiggly things in. That's something that is kind of characteristic of some of my work in the last few years, is that I put these in. I've taught some of you how to do that, but it's kind of my shtick that I came up with, and I use it a lot. And so I'm going to have to put some more in. I've got one here, but this is not balanced yet. So, and another thing I want to do is I want to check, and this is something I've also seen in work that I want to comment about in assemblage. It seems to me that the best circumference for your neckline is around 22 to 24 inches for this big of a piece. Now, you can make your neckline so that it's adjustable. I always do that. In case someone is smaller boned, has a small neck, and needs to bring that up a little bit closer to make it look right, as you can see, you can do that on this bead and link chain here. You can come up closer and come into here and hook it higher if you like. Okay, so you got some options. But if you stay 22 to 24, it'll fit most of your customers comfortably, even ones who have a larger neck, for lack of better words. So I like this length for me because I have a larger neck. So it works good, and it hits you just about right. This piece that goes across here, I use the larger crescent. In fact, I'll just flip it over so you can see. And it's the 5-inch crescent. So you've got about 5 inches here, and then you've got, when you measure your sides, you've got about 7 inches each side, and then you can always add a little bit here so that you can adjust it up or back. So I like to see necklaces made adjustable, especially when they are this type, because we need to have good fit. Okay, this is an asymmetric neckline. Why do I say that? Because it's not the same. As you can see, this is beads, not beads, this is buttons. These are vintage buttons that are all wonky wired. That's what I call that. And these are pretty beads that I had actually bought to do some jewelry for Jordan Privateer's wedding, wasn't it?
Yes.
And had extra, and so then I just put them up this side, and I thought it was a nice blend because you have the silvers and the crystals and the golds, and so it just kind of, you know, blends all the mixed colors together, plus these vitriol centers kind of bring all this in. So, you know, it's kind of nice to mix it up and use chunky ingredients when you do your sides, because a little tiny chain just doesn't quite cut it. Like, now I'm going to give you an example. I'm just going to tear this off. No, okay. I could have just used this inexpensive rosary, pearl rosary. It's chain 03367. And I could have just done this. That's not terrible. It doesn't not go.
It's not enough, though.
No, it's 6mm beads, and I think for a size, for a piece this big, you need to go 8, 10, 12, 14, 8 being small.
Mm-hmm.
You know, those are, let's just measure them. Let me set this over here. And these are 12s. So those are 12mm beads. And if you need to learn to measure in millimeters, just go back in my videos to some of the very early ones. There's one. I couldn't do it better, so I never did it again. How to measure millimeters. Why do you need to learn to? I'll tell you again. It's because jewelry parts are measured in millimeters, and that's just how it is. And it's really, really simple to learn to measure in millimeters. 1 millimeter is 25. 1 inch is 25 millimeters. 2 inches is 50. 3 inches is 75. So if you split in half, you've got 12mm bead. That's almost a 1/2 inch bead. Okay? 37mm would be 1.5 inches, basically, thereabouts, give or take. So it gives you a good rule of thumb, 25mm an inch. 50 is 2, 75 is 3. Split it up, you got it. It's not hard to learn. Believe me, I am not a mathematician by any means. So if I was able to learn how to measure millimeters and get it, you can do it. It's not hard, okay? So anyway, I like this asymmetric neckline. I don't need to teach you how to do this. You can do this yourself. I might add a few little beads hanging off of this too, because this is a fussy, big, over-the-top piece. I can do that. It's okay. It's not too much, okay? But with these buttons here, to show you how to wonky wear. Now this is going to be a stretch for me today because I'm not having the best day. I have not been having good days for a while. Today I got up and found out I didn't have water at my house because we have a well and the pump burned up. Why, I don't know. My husband's up there fixing it now, I hope. So we kind of had a wild morning. But anyway, I'm calming down. I use these big long eye pins. I think they're I4 at the site. Or you can just use a piece of wire. It's fine. But you just take a button. Oh, hey, you like my ring? That's a bug from the other week. Woohoo, he's a ring now. I'll take him off though because he's kind of in the way. Alright. First thing you do is you take your button and you just put your eye pin down through. Okay? Now when you're getting close to where you want to be, You want this coming, this loop. You want this loop coming off the edge, because it's going to form your hanging hole. I think yeah, that'll work. So now I'm going to bring the back up for just now. And push that off the edge. And push it down just a little, okay? You see what I've done?
Nicely done.
Nicely done.
It is.
Now here's the trick of it. And I'm not on, I can do it. That's why I call them wonky wire, because they're kind of goofy looking, but they work for me. If that doesn't work for you, then what you do is you work with this technique till you get it all precise and nice, because I know you can. For me, the wonky look is kind of artsy, so I like it. But now I've got my chain nose pliers, and I've got it down on that loop. So now I'm going to bring this back. I want to hold this still, this loop, because I'm going to wrap it. Okay, like we've done many other things. Now, where it gets wonky is because I've got this holding on up here. I've kind of got to do this by hand. So I've got to do it as tight as I can. And I hope I've got my hands out of there enough you can see how I'm doing it. And it's, you know, not precise, but I want a tail, okay? At least that long. See? I'll take my chain nose off and I'll straighten that out. So I have half done. Now this is sticking up back here. Guess what? No big deal. Just stick it. Try not to pinch yourself. I just did. Didn't feel
That's
good.
how you know not to do
Didn't feel good. Okay, if you want it straight, work with it till you get it straight. This time, it's wonky wired. It's off. It's so long as it's flat, it's okay. Okay, it's okay with me. If it's not with you, you perfect it. You do that. Okay, so I'm gonna get this out of my way. I'm gonna do it again, and I'm gonna go down through there, and I'm gonna try and
I like
see.
this. I didn't see this before, Brenda.
Well, I've wired buttons
seen you do
before,
it.
but not like this. Not to make connectors.
Yeah, I love it.
Okay, so I've got him down. And I'm going to take and bend his head a little bit. Then I'm going to hold this. And then I'm going to bring this up. And once again. Now I suppose I could do this opposite. I could hold this with the pliers and hold this with my fingers. I don't know. Maybe I just hold it with my fingers. Let's try it that way. Which way was it going? This way. About 4 times around. These are, and again I've got a tail. These are, where's that ruler? And all spells measure. Yeah, 4 inches long. Now, we carry these on the site, but you can do this. They're about 20 gauge. So you can just get a hunk of wire and put a loop in the end and go for it. You know, you don't have to get these, but I just kind of use them. I always have.
Maybe it depends on the size of the buttonhole.
Yeah, you know, and it depends on you, what you want to do. But anyway, okay, so now I've got this going on. This could be admittedly a little bit tighter, but for the sake of time. Now I'm going to bring them to the middle. As tight as I can get it. And it's so hard to keep my hands out of here, guys, so you can see.
You're doing good, though, really. I'm watching it.
I know you want to see, but only so much as possible. But I'm kind of crossing the legs. Okay. Now, here's the place where if you wanted, you could take and you could twist it, you know, and get it really tight. I don't think I want to do that this time. Okay. So it's up to you. If you want it tight, you can do it. Just don't snap the wire. Okay. So now again, I'm going to press down so that I can, I'm just using my fingers mostly and pressing this way and this way. Okay. And then I'm going to come over on this side and press it down again and press it this way and down. So it's not super tight. But if you want to mess around with it and perfect the technique, you could get it super tight. I'm not real concerned about that. There's nothing to stick, catch on clothes, anything. So it's fine. So now all we have to do is we take our round nose pliers, and now we get artistic. And this is, you do what you want. Totally do what you want. Go clear, what I like to do is go clear out to the end of this wire, and then just start twisting it.
Gonna make
and
like
make a
little
little loop thing.
spring.
Yeah, a little loopy thing. Now I got this one kind of not my best work, but that's not what this is about right now, guys. Doing my best work on camera. I can refine this later. I'm just showing you the technique. I know some of you wire wrappers out there are very particular and you like precision. I don't do precision work, and it doesn't bother me to say that, and I don't think you have to. The main thing you have to do is make it pleasing to the eye, make it artistic, make it look right, and be sure that your ends are enclosed so that it doesn't catch on clothing, snag people, cut them. You know, so, you know, I would definitely work with this a little bit more because I would prefer a little bit different look than I've got, but you've got the premise of it and you do what you want. This piece is sticking up a little. I don't like that, so I'm going to pull it back down. Okay, but I've got a wonky wired connector. And to bring this back down here, you'll see how I did these. I used a little bit more wire on these, and I twisted them, and I angled them, and I bent them. They're very, very wonky. Very, very wonky. But the main thing is that they're artsy. They have movement, which I like. I like this look. And I might take and put a few little beads there too. I don't know yet. I know one thing, I don't want to cover this up. And will I do it better next time? Yep. And will I do it better the next time after that? Yep. Until I finally get down exactly what my look is for a wonky wired bead. And then they may all be kind of like that. Or not. It's up to you. But that's how you do it. 2 long pieces of wire, 4 inches long, with a loop on the end.
Brenda?
Yeah.
No, a thought came to my mind.
What?
What I see you do here is you don't think of the chain separate from that piece. You think of it as being all together, and
That's
as much
the entire
as
design.
yeah, and you bring up something, you repeat something, bring up color, so you think of it as complete, not 2 separate things.
I may use stray components that are laying around on my table, which we're going to talk about in just a minute. I may use things up that way, but it's not without thought.
No. It's a repeated design, color.
Your neckline needs to go with what you do in here. And that's not just color, but it's also chunky factor,
Yeah.
texture factor, size, all that.
Yeah.
It all needs to have bounce and flow. So putting a little skinny bead, like if I did 4 6mm beads on this,
Wouldn't be enough.
no, it would look, it would probably be fine. I did them in the past that way, but it doesn't work style-wise. You need, if this was smaller, if it was a smaller
Right.
assemblage, that would be absolutely fine. Just like this necklace that I'm wearing is fine being on a piece of leather cord. It could go either way. This has got to have some heft to it. Okay, another idea, and then that'll be pretty much what I wanted to show you for today, is using up bits and pieces. And I've got a 7-inch length here, which is pretty much the length of a side. And you can see I've done a whole bunch of things with this. I've used some of this very expensive book chain, but I've only used 3 pieces of it, 3 links, here and here. I used a beautiful bead and some rondelles. And then here I used 3 little scraps of bead and link chain, which are chain 0119. And this one doesn't have a number. We'll get it for you. It's the silver bead and link chain. And then brass locks, which is chain 0117. And what I did is I cut off from each of these 4 of these little loops. I'll show you real quick. I need 4 loops. So I'll cut it here, and I'm going to move it back this way because I don't want anybody to... So I'm kind of off camera, sorry guys. And I want to get this. Just do it down here. I'll show you in a minute. Okay, here we go. So I get 3 lengths like this. I could do it all silver. I could do a mixture. I could do one with brass ox. So I have to get this one little nub off. Hubby's moving back. Donna, you had an interesting thought earlier. Can you remember what it was you were telling me?
Well, sometimes when you and I start talking about something, we'll come up with an illustration that helps get a principle in someone's mind so that they can kind of have it as part of their process when they're making things. And I thought of how if we put makeup on our only half of our face.
That was it. Yeah.
You know, the one side looks great and the other side doesn't match. It doesn't have the same.
Yeah, that would be kind of like making a great big assemblage and then using too small of beads or the wrong beads.
Yeah, two different styles between the chain and the
styles that
assemblage.
don't go together.
Yeah, it's not gonna.
It takes some thought, you know. Sometimes people think, well, so often they think when they're doing assemblage that it's just so random. Just start jamming stuff together.
It's
doesn't
less
matter.
random.
This is not random,
No.
guys. This is artwork. It's collage. And like things go together for texture, flow, and movement. And it's not just, I mean, I've done plenty of pieces that were like that, don't get me wrong. But I learned over time that what sold was pieces that had those 3 factors, texture, flow, and movement, and that required planning. And I'm using an 8mm jump ring here.
I think that's one of the things too. When we were talking, we thought how nice it would be to do a video on using connectors and working with chain a little bit more to get interest. This is just excellent for such a large piece, and it gives so many ideas. But even on all scales.
So I've just looped the 3 onto an 8mm jump.
Not hard.
And now brass ox book chain. Because this stuff's expensive. It's like $8.75, $9.50 depending on the color plating. A foot. So for you to go take a great big long piece of this and put it all around here, is this balanced? Yeah. Yeah. Because it's heavy. Is that balanced? Yeah. Is it interesting?
Could be more interesting.
Could be more interesting. It's not uninteresting. Because this chain has really cool stuff.
Yes, it is.
But it just could be better, and you could get by with using a whole lot less. And you could use up stuff that's, you know, lying about. So see, I've got the beginning of another section here. See? I just finished that off in closing today so that you can get it in mind real well. I'm going to take 3 lengths is all. So how much is 3 lengths? Where's my ruler? Where's my ruler? 3 lengths is not quite an inch of that chain. So you're saving some money there.
Yeah, if you're using up some scrap pieces to add interest.
Yeah, you know, if you ever have scraps, like here's a length that I took off separate.
Save it.
You save that. You don't throw this out. You could use this, you could rework it, reshape it, and use it for an earring link. People do it on the group all the time.
They do.
Yeah, there's no waste with this chain.
And always being aware of costs that's going into the
Yeah,
chain.
because you know
Think about
we're
it.
using quality goods, and quality goods. It's not buy 100 charms in a package on eBay for $2.50 with free shipping from China. How good can that be? You get what you pay for. This is good quality stuff. So it's realistically priced for what it is, but you want to use it well. That's my point. We have a lot of perks and discounts and freebies and giveaways and things at the website all the time to help you out. But you still need to be conscious of cost. So see, there's another section like that. I wonder if you can make an earring like that. Maybe, I don't know. Let's play with it.
Yeah, that's the fun part.
Anyway.
You get an idea just
Yeah.
like that. That's
Anyway.
how ideas
Yeah.
are born.
So this was my idea for this week, to think of balancing your pieces, your large assemblage pieces, and how you might do that. And once you get onto your wonky wired beads, you could make a whole necklace of those. You could just go a whole nother way with that. You could make a bracelet of them. I mean, just, you know, buttons, I should say. And
But
these
you're
are
repeating the color too. I mean, the
yeah,
colors are
well,
lovely.
I love old pearl buttons. You ever want to
Oh.
send me a present? Send me some old pearl buttons. I'll love you forever. I never get tired of them.
Each
I
one
love,
is so
love,
pretty.
love them. When I had my line back in the 90s, one of the major pieces of that line was old pearl buttons. And they were very plentiful then, the shirt style ones. They still can be found, and not for terrible prices, but they've gone up a lot and they're not as plentiful. So I'm just in love with pearl buttons. So much you can do with them. So anyway, think about it this week. What can you come up with? Join us at the Bisou Boutiques Creative Group. Show us what you did. We'd love to see. If you need some of these necklace crescents, I don't know the base number. It's a base. You'll find it in the blanks section. We have lots of them. I just
All
had
sizes.
Yeah, I have this size and a smaller one, and we have them, I think, close to gross on each of them, because I just got 2 shipments. I didn't want to run out over the holiday, because you can't. American-made goods, they roll up the streets.
They do.
In the middle of December, and you can't get anything until later on in January when they come back and catch up with their orders. So, you know, you have to prepare for that. I tried to do a better job this year. All right, enough said. Have fun with it. Come join us at the Creative Group. Be thinking about what you might do for the January through March challenge, Build a Line. I did a blog post this week. We're talking about it a lot. There's a document at the Creative Group. You need to join us for this. Even if you don't want to participate, you're going to want to observe, because it is an essential part of developing yourself as an artist, is to learn to build a line of jewelry that's cohesive. So we'll be doing that soon. Meantime, we hope to see you at the group, and you have a wonderful day.